All right, today we're going to talk about a company that's probably in your home right now, IKEA. And believe me, the story behind it is just wild. We're talking about a journey that starts with, of all things, a handful of matchsticks and ends up as a global empire. It completely changes the game on what it means to think big. So, yeah, that's the big question, isn't it? How do you turn matchsticks into a global empire? I mean, it sounds like something out of a fairy tale, but it's the actual, true story behind that iconic blue and yellow logo. So, how in the world did a kid selling matches off his bike create a brand that's known everywhere? Well, let's dive in and find out. Okay, so to get this story started, we're not heading to some fancy boardroom in a skyscraper. Nope, we're going back in time to the Swedish countryside to meet a very, very determined young boy. His name? Ingvar Kamprad. Now, this kid's entrepreneurial spirit, it kicked in super early. I mean, at just 5 years old, 5. While most of us were, playing with toys, he was already out there selling matchsticks to his neighbors. Fast forward a bit, and by the time he's only 17, he's officially founding the company we all know today. Just incredible. And that name, IKEA. Ever wondered where it came from? It's not some slick, corporate made-up word, not at all. It's actually super personal. The I and K are his initials, Ingvar Kamprad. And the E and A, they stand for the farm and the village where he grew up. So right from the start, this massive global brand is literally grounded in these super humble rural roots. All right, so moving into the 1950s, IKEA starts getting into the furniture game. But here's the thing. The way people bought furniture back then was, well, it was a mess. The whole industry was just waiting for someone to come along and completely shake things up. Just try to picture it. You want to buy a new table. First off, it's going to be expensive. Then it's super heavy and already put together. So how do you even get it home? It was a total nightmare for customers, and that was the big problem that IKEA was about to solve in a brilliant way. So where did the solution come from? You might think it was from some big, expensive strategy session or a bunch of market research. But nope, the breakthrough came from a single, simple idea. One of those aha moments that literally changes the course of history for a company. So, get this. The story goes that one of their employees was struggling to cram a table into a car, and he just thought, what if I take the legs off? And that one simple act, that was it. That was the spark for the entire flat pack revolution. Suddenly, they could ship furniture in flat boxes, which absolutely demolished their shipping and storage costs. And guess what? They passed all those savings on to you, the customer. This wasn't just about selling furniture anymore. They totally reinvented the entire business model. But, the genius of IKEA wasn't just the flat pack box. They understood something else that was absolutely crucial. They knew they couldn't just be a store. They had to be a destination, an experience. Okay, let's be honest. Have you ever been to an IKEA and felt like you're in a maze? Well, guess what? That's totally on purpose. That one-way path is designed to lead you through these perfectly staged little rooms. You get to touch things, sit on the sofas, and really picture it all in your own home. It pulls you in. And their thinking is pretty simple, right? The longer you're in there, the more you see, and the more you're going to end up buying. And then, just as you're starting to get a little tired, maybe a little hungry from all that walking, bam, the meatballs. You know what I'm talking about. See, that famous food court isn't just a nice little extra. It's an absolute masterstroke. It keeps you in the building, it keeps your energy up, and it turns a boring shopping trip into a fun day out for the whole family. So that brings up a huge question. How on earth do they keep their prices so low? For the furniture, for the food, for everything. Well, it all boils down to one incredibly powerful business strategy that guides literally everything they do. And that secret weapon is a concept called cost leadership. It sounds a bit corporate, but the idea is simple. The entire company is laser-focused, almost obsessed with one thing, being the absolute cheapest producer in the industry. Every single decision they make, big or small, has to answer the question, does this save us money? So how do they actually pull this off? Well, first, they design everything themselves, so they have total control over the costs of materials. We already talked about flat packing, that's a huge money saver on shipping. Then they produce millions of each item, which drives the cost way down. And get this, even those funny product names, that's a cost-saving trick. They don't have to spend money translating Billy or Poang for every country. It's brilliant. For IKEA, every single penny counts. You see, this obsession with low costs and creating a great experience, it was more than just a business plan. It was a philosophy, a core belief. And that philosophy, coming straight from the founder himself, was the blueprint they used to expand all over the world. And this quote from Ingvar Kamprad really says it all. The mission was never about making fancy, expensive stuff for a few rich people. The mission was always about making good design available to everyone, no matter how much money they had in their pocket. And here's the crazy part. Ingvar Kamprad actually lived this. We're talking about a billionaire who famously flew economy class, drove an old Volvo, and packed his own lunch. He believed that real leadership wasn't about showing off your wealth. It was about living and breathing the values of your company. His entire life was proof that he meant what he said. So when you boil it all down, what are the lessons here? Well, first, a great idea can beat a big bank account any day. Second, simple is almost always better than complicated. Third, if you control your costs, you control your future. And finally, it's the experience you create that builds real, lasting loyalty. And I think that leaves us with a really powerful final thought. The IKEA story, this incredible journey from a kid with some matchsticks to a global powerhouse, it proves one thing for sure. Big dreams don't need big money. They just need big thinking.